up, guys? Rob here at Bob Evans Classics. If you want to see all of our new inventory every week, please hit that subscribe button. We get new cars in daily. Hit the like button. Appreciate you checking us out. Let's go. Looks good, Chris.
Man, there ain't much I ain't done to this car. When I bought this car, the guy advertised it on Craigslist. That's how long Craigslist was a thing.
Yep.
That he was bringing it up from Florida to Chrysler's at Carlisle. And he won $9,500 for it. And I was like, man, that's a pretty good deal. Florida car, no rust. So I went up there and met him there, and he had it in the car corral. And he was like, I already got it sold. I said, and there was people crawling all over the site. I was like,
you know how Carlisle is.
Yeah, it was crawling all over. They're like, man, it's a nice car. And this is actually his paint job he done to it. This was his first paint job. He did this in a one-car garage. And he was a carpenter by trade. I was like, well, you did pretty good for your first paint job. I don't attempt paint myself, but so I said, well, I'll come back by later and to see if somebody come and got it. He goes, yeah, they're going to an ATM to get money. I'm like, I don't know about ATMs, but you ain't pulling $9,500 out of an ATM.
Nope.
So I came back about 4 hours later when I was getting ready to leave, and I said, nobody buy it yet? He goes, no. I said, what's the best you'll do on it? He goes, $9,500. I said, I got $8,500 cash on me right now. He goes, you do? I said, I got cash. I don't got to go to no machine. And so I pulled out the cash. He goes, looked at his girlfriend. And he's like, all right. So I bought it, and this car had never been driven since he redone it. He had this car forever. He actually rebuilt the motor in 1980, and it's set to 13.
Oh, wow.
On a stand when he put the motor in it, and this was his mother's car, or his father's car, or something like. I don't know exactly the story.
So it was in the family, though.
It was pretty much a family car, and I didn't even make it 10 miles down the road and quit running. The tank was so full of crap from sitting around, but he had a 340 drivetrain out of I think a 69 Dart, because it had a 69 340 in it. The transmission in the rear end out and had 355s. So I messed with it and kept blowing the filter out, by hand. And I got it all the way home, and then I got it cleaned out, run pretty good. Then the motor just didn't have any oil pressure. I mean, like 5 pounds on idle, which was bad for a brand new engine. So I pulled the motor, and later figured out that they never put the plugs in the front of the block for the cam core, where the cam runs, they never put the plugs back in, so it was just spraying right out over on the timing chain.
There's where you're losing the pressure.
Oh, it was losing a lot of pressure. So then I took that motor up to my friend, because it already had bearings showing, and I only drove it from Carlisle to Hagerstown. It had copper showing in the bearings. I said, I want to freshen this up. I said, but, and then he figured it out that that's what was wrong. He goes, why you want to do this engine? I can just build you I can sell you that block. He said, it's already machine 30 over. I can build you a 408, and it'll be way more powerful than that 340 is. I said, and he goes, for the same money. I said, okay, let's do that. Then I kept the 340 for many years after that, and then sold it. But I did that. When I did that, I put another transmission in it. Rear end, I mean, there ain't much I ain't done. It's got disc brakes on it. Every line on it, the actual hard lines on this car are all original and have zero rust on it. This is the nicest car underneath I've ever had. Besides that dart there. That dart was pretty nice, that one in the picture.
Yeah.
That was a one-owner car, but
that's what I thought this was. When I heard about, when you sent me the picture, I thought it was the same. I wasn't sure if it was the same car or not.
Everybody seems to think, cause I've had 4 of these, and all 4 of them are the exact same color.
Right.
This must have been the only color they painted these cars back in the day. They were green, this F4 green, and so I wasn't real enthused about the green because it seems like every car
I
I've
like
ever
it.
had is green.
I think it's cool.
Yeah, it's alright. It's a decent color. I had this hood done, and this guy painted this hood 4 times to try to get it to match. You notice it's a little more golder looking.
We'll see it when we get out in the light.
Yeah, I got like $2,500 in having that hood painted. Trying to get it matched the rest of the car. Yeah.
It's hard to match it unless you're painting the whole car.
Under here, basically, this engine is the most maintenance-free engine I've ever had. I have done nothing to this thing but bolted in there. And I've put quite a few miles on it. I'd say it's probably got 5-ish thousand, somewhere around there, which that's a good bit of miles for, you know, just a weekend car.
Yeah.
Last year I drove it pretty good.
You take it to the shows and stuff?
Yeah, it goes to a lot of shows, and then once a year it goes to Mason-Dixon Dragway down here, has a all Mopar show, and I always drag races in that show.
What's it running?
The last time I had it down, exactly the way you see it, I don't change nothing. The way you see it, 1205, 7 rounds in a row.
Wow.
I mean, it went 1205, 1205, 1205, 1205, the way it says. And I got time slips in there to prove that. So
what's stock 344 speed running?
Quarter mount, like a bone stock?
Bone stock, yeah.
1450.
1450.
Yeah.
So
I had a 69 344 speed car, and that was a 1450s all day long. And then as soon as you put headers on them, it'll pick them up to like 1350s, as long as you run them open.
well, headers do that? You're getting a whole second?
Yeah, they were very restricted. Them motors didn't make a lot of horsepower. They were only, I've seen a guy just dyno one exactly factory spec. It made 290 horsepower. And I mean, that was, I guess, a lot of horsepower back then. It was under 300.
I thought it was more though.
They always said when they were rated 375 at 4,500 RPMs, or 275.
275.
Yeah, 275 at 4,500 RPMs for insurance reasons. But that was with their stock manifolds, which were horrible. Them things were horrible. One went up this way and one went down this way, and they were like a log style on this side and a high rise one here, and they squeezed it down like that tight going down through there. If you look at these headers, there must have been a magician that made these headers. That on that side over there, to get an under chassis header on this car is something, because it's got the torsion bars still on it, and those headers alone are $1,000. They're the TTI headers, but one goes on the outside of the torsion bar.
Yeah.
And they are this close to everything but touch nothing. The dude that built these things, he was a drinker. I guarantee you. I was like, you made a hell of a set of headers, I gotta give you that. But the front end, everything in the front end is brand spanking new. This car has stiff steering because everything is brand new. All the ball joints and tie rods and idler arms, and I got SPC upper control arms and ball joints, and I mean, all that stuff's brand new. It's braided lines on all the axles or on the brakes on all 4 wheels. I got down in here, you got a trans cooler with a fan.
I see it.
And I got fans that run there off of a controller. When it hits 185, one fan comes on. When it hits 190, the other fan comes on. It's a 130 amp alternator. This setup is hard on alternators. That one's been on there, I guess that's been on for 2 years. You can get about 2 years out of an alternator.
Okay.
Then you just put new brushes in it, because it draws on, because you're drawing 60 amps right there. And then you put that on, that's another 20, which I don't use it that much unless I'm in town. A lot of in-town driving.
Yeah.
Because it's got a pretty good converter. It's a 3500 stall. turbo action converter, so you're having to rev it to get it to move pretty good. So that makes the transmission pull some heat. Whenever it hits 150 degrees, I got a gauge in there. When it hits 150, I turn that on.
You got a manual switch in there?
Yes, I got manual on that. I also have manual override on these, but they're also on a controller.
Can you set that up as automatic to hit when it hits 150?
I probably could, but you'd have to run a temperature. You'd have to run a sender like this here.
Okay.
See how it's got that sender?
Yeah. That's just Chris. I don't give a fuck.
This sender, you'd have to put a same setup in your trans pan, and then put it on a relay.
Not worth
basically.
it. Yeah, it's not worth it.
It's easy enough to do that because all I gotta do is look over and see it says 145, 150. I click it on, but it doesn't. This transmission doesn't normally run hot. But if you want, I can throw Jack on it real quick here, and you can look.
Nah, fire it up first.
All right, let me pull this.
I'll go under it, but I don't need you to put it on a jack or nothing.
I always keep tender on everything. Everything has tenders on
Yep. What are you buying? You gonna buy? You said you were buying something else, right?
it. Everything I want to buy is done sold.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, people are buying stuff, man. I'm blown away. There's this Challenger came on there this morning for $7,000, a 70 Challenger.
Oh.
I'm like, I'm interested. I'll come today.
It's gone before.
Pending, just like that. Pending. I'm like, who sells a Challenger for $7,000? Nobody.
Was it a shell?
It was a driver with buckets. I'll show it to you. I'll show it to you in a minute. But it was a pretty nice car, and I was like, holy mackerel, that's a hell of a car for $7,000. And it was a woman selling. I'm like, well, maybe she don't know what she had, and it was in Delaware. And I was like,
Or was it? Or it was a scam? Could be a scam.
Could be a scam.
Because I mean, normally I'm down here looking for cars because here prices are better than where I'm at.
Oh,
I got New York people that just have flooded the market, and California people. Anything near a big city, you're paying top dollar.
Yeah.
So I go there. I come down here, and I go to Virginia a lot, North Carolina, buy cars, and then
you almost have to.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a car that if I sell this, it's a 32 Plymouth, and it's been made to drive. It's got air conditioning. It's got 318. Because I will not buy anything unless it's a Mopar.
I know.
It has to
I
be
know that.
Mopar powered.
Mopar, no car.
If it ain't got Mopar in it, there's so many of them old cars that are always Chevrolet. I'm just like, why? You can put a Dodge motor in these things. It's not hard.
Yeah, they're usually all 350s.
All 350s.
Yep.
And I don't know, I'm not gonna badmouth them, but these engines are so much simpler to work on. Solid rocker shafts. You don't have to adjust nothing. You just bolt it down and go. And the 440s were the easiest engines ever made. I mean, they got external oil pump, solid rocker shafts, and the water pumps, 4 bolts take the water pump off. You don't have to tear half the car apart. So, you know, these have always been great engines. That's got 360 in that too. So I've built that thing out of many junk parts.
Now, what's up with this Dart? It's saying Dart here. This is not where they normally are.
They did it on 72s.
They did?
Yeah, it's weird because 71s had Dart swinger back there. This was back there, so
Yeah.
for some reason they did that. And I've had a couple 72s like that.
Was 70, 71, 72 same body style?
Yes.
Or did they change? 72's a little different?
Once they 73, they put the pointy nose
Right,
on it.
okay.
But everything else was pretty much the same.
Besides that?
When these, yeah. It was basically the emblems. And all the emblems on this car are brand new too. All the door handles are new. All the interior door cards are all new. Carpet's new. Headliner. It's got a nice headliner. It's got like a new car style headliner. A little loud.
Just a little bit.
Sounds like a hot rod, doesn't it?
You know, the problem is with Mopar, you know the biggest problem?
What's that?
You sellers don't want to sell, and you guys want a ton of money.
Yeah. Well, you know what's the crazy part about Mopars? You know how I got into them? Because they were the cheapest car you could buy.
Yep, they used to be.
They used to be the cheapest car you could. I was so poor I couldn't afford nothing else, and I used to buy these things for $350, you know, all day long. And then all of a sudden they got hard to find, and then everybody wanted a freaking fortune for them. It's like that Barracuda. I bought that car for $2,500.
It's crazy.
And they're not $2,500 anymore. They went crazy price.
Oh, you can't touch a shell for. I mean, you can't touch a brake
Even
line.
these things, I see these things at $12,000, $13,000, and everything's piled inside them, and they're basically nothing. You know, it's a start.
Yeah. The problem with the darts, they're starting to appreciate.
They're trying.
They're trying.
Yep.
This is the only one out of the Mopar where it's kind of like it hasn't taken off yet.
It was always weird because in all reality, some of these cars were better built cars. They were actually nicer inside and stuff, and they were always definitely underpriced for the longest time.
I remember when I was a kid, my dad had two of them.
Yeah.
I think he had a white one and a blue one.
White one, yeah. Yeah, the blue one, I don't know.
Or a black one.
I think it was, something tells me it was blue.
Yeah.
I know the white one, that's the one he had painted, and
yeah.
I tried following that car up, and
I found it.
You did find it?
It got destroyed.
Oh, God.
It was so little Billy got it.
Yeah.
And he sold it to a guy in Hagerstown. The guy wrapped it around a pole.
Nah, man.
Yeah.
That
I tried buying it. The price didn't matter to me. I was just trying to buy it, but
Yeah.
I couldn't. I tracked it down and it was it. So then when you told me about this car, that's what it reminded me of. So I was like, all right, it's got some sentimental attachment because it's your car. You knew him. You guys were friends. So we were.
This is actually a really nice car. I mean, it's not the best out there.
Yeah.
There is more better, but they are more expensive.
Yeah,
That's
for sure.
When you get a super paint job, and I'd say the paint. This guy, when he painted this car, he said all he did was scuff and shoe. He did no body work. So what you see is what this car was, and I never could find any rust on it anywhere.
What would you rate this paint from 1 to 10 if it was in your opinion?
I'd say 7.
Yeah.
Somewhere around
Yeah,
there.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah, probably 7. I mean, it is a base clear. I would say it wouldn't take much to make it really nice. It's got a couple little door dings here.
Yeah, I saw on the other door too.
Yeah,
it's rubbing a
one
little
on
bit.
each side. One of them used to be here somewhere.
Yeah, this
I don't know. And it's like the wheel well lips. They rolled the lips on them, so they did it with a pair of pliers. So it messed this lip up a little bit. Now he looks like he put something trying to straighten it out, but because back in the day it was hard. I mean, you don't know what I went through to get a tire to fit this car. Because you can't, without quarter tub in these cars, you cannot get no tire. That's an 8-inch rim in there, and that's hard.
Yeah.
That's real hard. It's actually a Mustang rim backspaced 5.5 inches with a 1/2-inch spacer and 3.5-inch wheel studs with a disc brake, which gives you another 1/4 inch.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like
close.
Yep. It got so I bought 4 sets of rims before I could get a set of rims to fit this thing. They were all stacked up in there. I just actually sold them all off. They're all brand new rims, and I just like, until I get a rim that fits on this freaking car, I am not going to stop, because I could get a 7 on it, but they didn't make any 7s in this weld wheel. And I had welds on the front, and I wanted welds on the back, and all I could get was like a Chrysler style rim, holes all the way around. But other than that, it was definitely hard to get a tire to fit this car. And then this tire size, this P255, it took me 1 year from the time I ordered them before they sent them to me. So these just got here about midsummer of last year. And I was like, I had ordered them a year before because I guess COVID and all that stuff. And it took forever. They kept saying back order, back order, back order. And I was like, I'm about ready to stop doing it. He goes, look, if you take them off now, you take the sale off, you may never get a tire. He goes, they're going to make what they've sold. I said, all right, well then I better wait on that then. But these tires work pretty good. I mean, I didn't want to, because my Cuda was tubbed out. I didn't want to have to go that route again. I mean, that was an era, you know, the 90s era where everything was tubbed out.
Yep.
So now the tire technology up to today is way better than what it is right now. You know, what it used to be. So you want to go for a ride?
Of course I want to go for a ride. We talked this whole time. It's time to drive it.
It's time to ride.
Yeah, I'll go in the back.
It's not very roomy. I will say that.
You lock that up? Go, grab our bag, Chris.
Want the bag?
Yeah, bring the bag with us.
Yeah, especially if you're carrying cash.
Yeah, I got cash.
I don't ever see a lot of people back here, but...
Yeah, you never know. It takes one person to break my window and take my money.
Yeah, and then we got a railroad track right there, so... I don't have no seatbelts for you back there, so... The way this all works here, that's your fuel, that's your manual override for the fans. I mean, that's for the trans fan. Here's your manual override for the fan for the whatchamacallit. This is line lock, and that's just a light for down there. All right. Then you got wideband, trans temp, oil pressure, water temperature. And no power steering.
Manual brakes or power brakes?
You see the tail lights on it?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Never has gas. This car's got great fucking brakes. Until I put them disc brakes on it, she was a little sometimes getting her stopped in the quarter mile. It's like, oh, it's full manual valve body too, so you gotta shift them. And it's forward pattern, which I had to have a special
That's reverse or you have a?
It's forward pattern.
Oh, forward. Okay, so
yeah, I had a special had to make that valve body. I'll get it out of here. So I could run a forward pattern. I always never understood the reverse pattern because I like to go through the corner. I like kicking it in neutral and let the car calm down. Well, when you got full manual reverse pattern, you can't kick it in neutral. You got to downshift every gear. Everybody looks at it, that's for sure. You need too much air when you're not doing it?
No, it's fine. Perfect. It sounds great.
It's very streetable. That's what I like about it. It's got 391s in it, so once you get up over 55, then it starts talking. 55 is tacking like 3,100. It kind of goes like this, but it works.
They're usually bouncing a lot more than that.
Yeah, usually they're going wing. And it's the right one for the transmission for these gears. So the speedometer's pretty close to being right. And the gas gauge works. Which I put all new that in there because I've never seen a brass flue turn to mush. When I pulled it out of this tank, it was just mush, full of little holes. I was like, ain't that crazy? We call this Warehouse County, Maryland. We got these things everywhere now.
I saw a bunch of them all over the place.
They're all empty. There's nothing in them. That there had over 100, what was it? No, 76 acres of concrete on the floor.
Really?
That's a lot of concrete.
That is a lot. Are you still driving a truck?
No, I had to stop doing it because I had started having ear problems and was causing me to get vertigo when I crossed the mountains.
Oh wow.
My ears wouldn't pop. Then I would start not being able to keep my head straight and shit. So I was like, man, this ain't a place to be driving a truck. But I did my time in a truck. I did that shit for 35 years. I drove 4.5 million miles. So I've been there. Yep. I've been there and did that. So now I just kind of like buying some cars to get by, basically. And a bunch of stuff that people let get neglected, and then I go in and fix the brakes on them and whatever little shit. Clean them up. Same thing me and your dad used to do.
Yep.
Buy them, clean them up, send them down the road.
Yep.
Remember, me and him used to go to the auction right when that auction first opened up, and you could buy cars like cheap. I mean, back then we was buying Volkswagen Bugs and stuff for $200-300. Plus, you got a car to drive for a month,
Right.
Which was awesome,
Right.
You know, because we didn't have to have insurance or none of that stuff. Just drive away.
Yeah.
Stanley, he done a bunch of it too. This shifter, the way it works, you lift up on that, now it's in a ratchet mode.
Okay.
And then you just got 3 like slapstick deals. And then it's kind of like regular, you got to pop it in each one of them. I wasn't a big fan
So
of
bottom
it.
gear is first.
It's, what is it?
So when you pick it up, you're going down. You're on first.
I'm in first right now,
Yeah.
yes. So you got to click back 3 times or 2 times back. Pretty good. I had a lot of problem with this transmission at first. I bought this off of Monster Transmissions. I had to take it out of this car 7 times. 7 times.
That's a lot.
And let me tell you what, you don't have no friends when you're pulling transmissions, boy. They're long gone. You're doing that shit by yourself.
Right. I believe it. I believe it.
So I ended up having to tear it all apart and rebuild it myself, and it's been great ever since. What they done, they put billet servos in it, and they were too tight, and they were hanging up, and they wouldn't shift gear. So I took them out, cleaned them up, and kept running sandpaper around them, put them back in. I haven't had any problem with them since. But the clutches and stuff, everything is got 4-disc clutch pack in it. It's like they put in motorhomes.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. This was a family friend of ours, basically a muscle car memory, showing us his muscle car he's had for the past 10 years. If you like this episode, please hit the like button, subscribe. If you're interested in buying this, let me know. I will put you in touch with him, and maybe we can get a deal together. Appreciate you guys. Talk to you later.